Namaskaram. The way you begin your morning is not just about today, it is about the very foundation of your life. If you start your day in a state of chaos, agitation, or anxiety, then you are setting up your entire system, your body, your mind, your emotions, to function in disorder. But if you give yourself just 20 minutes, you can align yourself with life in a way that transforms your experience. When you wake up in the morning, the first few moments are crucial. They set the tone for everything that follows. But most people, the moment they open their eyes, are immediately lost in thought. The mind starts running, plans for the day, things left unfinished, worries, expectations, and distractions. Before they even sit up, they have already engaged in 100 different things mentally. This is not an ideal way to begin the day. It is like starting a long journey with no sense of direction, no clarity. If you take control of these first few moments, you will see that the rest of your day will begin to align itself in a way that is far more balanced and effortless. Instead of rushing into action or reaching for your phone, just pause. Before doing anything else, simply allow yourself to be still. Stillness is not just about the absence of movement. It is about the presence of awareness. It is about creating a space where your mind, body, and emotions can settle before they are thrown into the chaos of the day. This is not about meditation in a structured sense, nor is it about any rigid practice. It is simply about being. Just sitting, just breathing, just allowing yourself to exist without interference. If you pay attention, you will notice that your breath is happening on its own. There is no effort on your part. The body knows how to breathe, how to function, how to keep you alive without your involvement. This simple realization can be very powerful. It is a reminder that life is happening by itself. You do not have to push, struggle, or fight every moment. If you just align yourself with it, everything can happen with a certain ease. Most people do not realize how deeply their mornings affect them. The moment they wake up, they carry the same agitation, the same stress, the same endless stream of thoughts from the previous day. There is no break. But if you take a few moments to simply be still, you are creating a pause. You are creating a space where you can experience yourself without all the noise of the outside world. In that space, there is clarity. In that space, there is peace. Your mind is like water. If you keep stirring it, if you keep throwing stones into it, it will always be disturbed. But if you allow it to settle, you will see everything clearly. Stillness is not about forcing the mind to be quiet. It is about giving it the space to settle on its own. If you can sit still and just observe, you will see that the turbulence naturally begins to subside. You will notice that your thoughts slow down, your body relaxes, your breath deepens. There is a natural intelligence within you that knows how to bring balance, but you must allow it to function. For most people, the mind is constantly in motion, jumping from one thought to another, one worry to another, one desire to another. But have you ever wondered what happens when you just stop engaging with every thought? What happens when you stop chasing, stop reacting, stop constantly needing to do something? In that moment of stillness, you begin to experience yourself in a different way. You begin to realize that you are not just your thoughts, not just your emotions, not just the roles you play in the world. There is something more fundamental within you. This stillness is not about escape. It is not about avoiding responsibilities or shutting out the world. On the contrary, it is about engaging with life in a way that is more conscious, more deliberate. When you start your day from a place of stillness, you are not reacting to the world, you are responding to it with clarity. You are no longer just a bundle of compulsions moving from one thing to the next without awareness. Instead, you are choosing how to be, how to act, how to think, and how to feel. This small shift can change everything. If you begin your morning in a scattered, distracted state, your entire day will reflect that. If you begin it with awareness, the day will unfold in a way that is more harmonious. You will notice that even the most ordinary tasks become more effortless. Conversations become clearer. Decisions become easier. Even challenges that once seemed stressful now feel more manageable. This is not magic. This is simply the result of starting your day in the right way. The problem is, Most people are constantly seeking stimulation. The moment they wake up, they need something. Music, news, social media, notifications. They are uncomfortable with silence, uncomfortable with just being. But if you can resist this urge, if you can allow yourself even a few moments of undisturbed stillness, you will begin to see the difference it makes. The mind will resist at first. It will want to move, to think, to do something. But if you can just watch without reacting, without getting caught up in it, you will see that there is a deeper space within you, a space that is untouched by all the noise of the world. This is not something that requires years of practice. It is not something you need to master. It is simply about allowing yourself to experience the natural state of your being before you step into the world each day. If you do this, you will see that your mornings no longer feel rushed. They no longer feel chaotic. Instead, they become a foundation for everything that follows. The moment you wake up in the morning, before you do anything else, there is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to set the tone for your entire day. An opportunity to shape your experience in a way that is conscious and intentional. But most people do not take this opportunity. Instead, they wake up and immediately start thinking about their tasks, their problems, their distractions. Before they even step out of bed, they are already caught in the momentum of yesterday. They are already carrying forward their anxieties, their worries, their unfinished thoughts. This is not the way to begin a new day. The first thing you should do when you open your eyes is to acknowledge life. Before your feet touch the ground, just take a moment to recognize that you are alive. This may seem simple, but it is not something to take for granted. Every day, countless people go to sleep and do not wake up the next morning. But today, you have been given another chance. Your heart is still beating. Your breath is still flowing. Your body is still functioning. Life has not left you. Just bringing this awareness into your morning can change everything. Most people wake up and immediately start looking for something they lack. They think about what they need to do, what they need to achieve, what they need to fix. But what if instead the first thing you did was acknowledge what you already have? This body, this breath, this moment. These are not small things. These are the fundamentals of your existence. Everything else, your work, your relationships, your ambitions, exists only because this fundamental life energy is still with you. If you truly realize this, you will begin your day not with stress, but with a sense of profound gratitude. Gratitude is not about forcing yourself to be positive. It is not about pretending that everything is perfect. It is about recognizing that despite everything, you are still here. Despite all the challenges, all the uncertainties, life is still happening within you. And if life is still happening, that means there is still a possibility. There is still something you can do, something you can create, something you can experience. This simple shift in perspective can transform your entire day. The way you start your morning influences how you see the rest of your day. If you begin with a sense of lack, with a sense of frustration, with a sense of burden, then everything you do will reflect that state. But if you begin with acknowledgement, with appreciation, with gratitude, then your actions, your thoughts, your emotions will naturally align with that energy. This is not about some philosophical idea. This is about how your system works. Your body and mind respond to the signals you give them. If you start the day feeling like life is against you, then your entire day will feel like a struggle. But if you start the day by recognizing the gift of being alive, then even challenges will feel like opportunities. One simple way to cultivate this awareness is to place your hands together in a gesture of gratitude as soon as you wake up. This is not about religion or belief. This is about consciously taking a moment to acknowledge the life within you. If you can do this with sincerity, you will notice a shift in your energy. You will no longer move through your morning mechanically. Instead, you will move with a sense of presence, a sense of connection to the very process of life. For most people, mornings are filled with stress. They wake up with an alarm, rush through their routine, and throw themselves into the day without any real awareness. But if you can take just a few moments to acknowledge life before you begin, you will notice that everything slows down. There is no need to rush. There is no need to start the day feeling overwhelmed. Life is not asking you to race against it. Life is simply offering itself to you, moment by moment. This small act of gratitude also has a powerful impact on the mind. The human mind is naturally inclined to focus on problems, on what is missing, on what needs to be fixed. But when you consciously acknowledge life each morning, you are training your mind to see things differently. You are shifting your focus from what is lacking to what is already present. This does not mean that difficulties will disappear, but it does mean that you will face them with a different mindset. A mind that begins the day in gratitude is a mind that is more resilient, more open, more capable of handling whatever comes its way. Acknowledging life is not just about your internal experience, it also affects how you interact with the world. When you start your day with gratitude, you are less likely to react with frustration, less likely to get caught up in negativity, less likely to feel constantly dissatisfied. Instead, you begin to move through the world with a certain ease, a certain grace. You begin to see that even the simplest moments, the warmth of the sunlight, the taste of your first sip of water, the sound of the morning are all part of the gift of being alive. This is not about forcing yourself to be grateful. It is not about making a list of things you appreciate just because someone told you to do it. It is about a genuine recognition of the life that is within you. If you can cultivate this awareness each morning, even for a few moments, you will see that your entire experience of life begins to shift. Your body is the most fundamental aspect of your existence. Before you can think, before you can feel, before you can do anything in this world, you exist in this body. Yet for most people, their body is the last thing they pay attention to. They wake up and immediately engage their mind, thinking, worrying, planning, checking their phones, but they do not take a moment to acknowledge or energize the body that carries them through life. This is why, over time, the body starts resisting. Fatigue sets in, stiffness increases, and health issues arise not because something is wrong with the body, but because it is being ignored. If you can give just a few minutes every morning to consciously move and awaken your body, you will see a significant change in how you experience your entire day. The body is not separate from the mind. What happens in the body affects the mind, and what happens in the mind affects the body. If the body is sluggish, the mind cannot be fully alert. If the body is stiff, the emotions cannot flow freely. This is why movement is not just about physical fitness. It is about aligning your whole system so that your energy flows smoothly. When you wake up, your body has been at rest for several hours. The circulation slows, the muscles relax, and the joints may become stiff. If you get out of bed and immediately start rushing into your day without activating your body, you are working against yourself. Your system is still waking up, but you are already asking it to function at full speed. This creates unnecessary stress and inefficiency. Instead of jumping out of bed and rushing into activity, take a moment to move your body in a way that feels natural. It does not have to be an intense workout. It does not have to follow a strict routine. Just allow the body to stretch, to open up, to feel awake and alive. Even a few simple stretches, slow breathing, or mindful movements can make a big difference. The purpose is not to force the body, but to reconnect with it. Most people live their lives disconnected from their own bodies. They only notice it when something goes wrong, when there is pain, when there is discomfort, when there is illness. But if you develop a habit of tuning into your body every morning, you will notice that it communicates with you all the time. You will become aware of where there is tension, where there is stiffness, where energy is not flowing freely. And with awareness comes the ability to bring balance. Breath and movement go hand in hand. If you pay attention, you will see that the way you breathe changes with every movement. When you stretch, the breath naturally expands. When you contract, the breath adjusts. This is not something you need to control, it is something you need to observe. When you move your body with awareness, the breath follows naturally. And when breath and movement align, the mind also comes into balance. If you start your day like this, you are creating a sense of harmony within yourself. Your body is awake, your breath is steady, and your mind is alert but calm. In many traditions, the body is seen as a sacred instrument. It is not just flesh and bones. It is the vessel through which you experience life. If you take care of it, it supports you effortlessly. If you neglect it, it becomes an obstacle. Movement is not just about keeping the body in shape, it is about keeping it in tune. A well-tuned instrument produces beautiful music. A well-tuned body allows you to experience life in its full vibrancy. When the body is open and energized, everything feels lighter. Tasks that once felt difficult become easier, the mind becomes clearer. Even emotions flow more freely without unnecessary resistance. Many people feel tired even after a full night's sleep. They wake up feeling heavy as if the day is already a burden. This is not because they lack rest, but because energy is not circulating properly in the body. Sleep gives the body a chance to repair itself, but movement gives the body a chance to wake up fully. Without movement, energy remains stagnant. The body may be awake, but it does not feel fully alive. Just a few minutes of conscious movement can change this. The stiffness melts away, the breath deepens, the energy starts to circulate again. This does not mean you need to follow any specific routine or practice. You do not need a gym, special equipment, or even a lot of time. What you need is just a few moments of awareness. Awareness of how your body feels. Awareness of how it moves. Awareness of how breath and movement are connected. If you start paying attention, your body itself will guide you. Some mornings it may need a deep stretch. Other mornings it may need gentle movement. The key is not to force, but to listen. Your body is designed to move. When you allow it to function the way it is meant to, you will experience a new level of energy throughout your day. Most people do not realize how much of their fatigue is simply due to lack of movement. They believe they are tired because they work too much, but often it is because they have not moved enough. The body is not meant to be stagnant. It is meant to be active, flexible, and alive. When movement is a part of your morning, you will notice that you do not need as much external stimulation to feel awake. You do not need as much caffeine. You do not need as many distractions. Your own energy will be enough. If you begin your morning by awakening the body, you are creating a foundation for a day that feels effortless. You are not dragging yourself through tasks. You are not struggling against your own system. Instead, you are moving in alignment with your body's natural intelligence. This simple practice, done with awareness, can transform not just your mornings, but your entire experience of life. Every morning, before you step into the world, before you engage with the noise, the responsibilities, and the distractions, there is a small but powerful opportunity. It is the opportunity to set a conscious intention for the day. Most people wake up and immediately allow the world to dictate their state of mind. They check their phones, read messages, scroll through news or social media, and within moments they are already reacting. Without realizing it, they have handed over control of their inner world to external forces. Their emotions, their thoughts, their energy are shaped not by their own choice but by whatever happens to be in front of them. This is why so many people feel like they are being pulled in 100 different directions every day, like life is happening to them rather than through them. But it does not have to be this way. If you take just a few moments every morning to set a conscious intention, you shift from being reactive to being responsive. You decide how you want to experience the day rather than allowing the day to decide for you. This is not about controlling everything that happens. Life will unfold in its own way and there will always be unexpected challenges and surprises. But when you set an intention, you are establishing a certain inner atmosphere, a certain way of being, regardless of external circumstances. Just as you would tune a musical instrument before playing it, setting an intention is like tuning your own system before engaging with the world. The intention does not have to be complex. It does not have to be a detailed plan or a rigid goal. It can be something as simple as deciding that today, no matter what happens, you will move through the day with awareness. It can be a decision to remain calm, to act with kindness, to bring a sense of joy to your actions, or to approach challenges with curiosity rather than frustration. What matters is that it comes from within you, that it is a conscious choice rather than an unconscious reaction. If you pay attention, you will see that the mind is constantly setting intentions. But most of the time, these are unconscious and unhelpful. If you wake up and immediately think, this is going to be another stressful day, you have already given your mind a direction, and your actions and emotions will follow accordingly. If you wake up thinking about all the things that could go wrong, your body and mind will be in a state of tension before anything has even happened. But if you wake up and consciously set an intention that supports your well-being, you will notice that your thoughts, emotions, and actions naturally align with it. The key is to set the intention in a way that is deeply felt rather than just thought. This is not about repeating a phrase mechanically, it is about connecting with it fully. If you decide to move through the day with a sense of ease, then for a few moments simply sit and feel what ease would be like in your body and mind. If your intention is to be present, take a few breaths and actually experience presence. When the intention is set in this way, it becomes something that is felt rather than just remembered. The morning is a powerful time for this practice because the mind is still fresh, not yet overloaded with information and distractions. In these moments, your thoughts have more clarity and your emotions have not yet been pulled in many directions. If you take advantage of this window and set an intention, you are giving yourself a reference point for the rest of the day, no matter what happens. You can return to this intention, using it as a guiding force rather than getting lost in reactivity. Many people spend their lives waiting for the right circumstances to feel a certain way. They think, when everything is in place, then I will be calm, or when things go my way, then I will be happy. But this is an endless cycle because circumstances are always changing. If you rely on external events to determine your inner state, you will always be at their mercy. Setting an intention is about reversing this process. It is about choosing how to be first and then moving into the world from that place. Instead of waiting for the right conditions, you create the right conditions within yourself. This is not about ignoring reality or pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about recognizing that you always have a choice in how you respond. You may not be able to control what happens around you, but you can decide how you engage with it. Even in the face of difficulty, even when things do not go as planned, the way you experience them is shaped by the state of mind you bring to them. If your intention is to remain calm, then even challenges become opportunities to practice that calmness. If your intention is to bring joy to your actions, then even routine tasks become meaningful. Over time, you will notice that this practice begins to shape not just your mornings, but your entire approach to life. You will find that you are no longer simply reacting to whatever happens, but responding with a sense of clarity and purpose. Small irritations will not disturb you as much. Stressful situations will not consume your energy. Even interactions with others will feel different because you are not approaching them unconsciously, but with a chosen way of being. If you make this a daily practice, it will become second nature. Just as you do not need to remind yourself to brush your teeth every morning, setting an intention will become a natural part of your routine. And when you start the day with awareness, the rest of the day unfolds in a way that reflects that awareness. The moment most people wake up, they are already reaching for something, whether it is their phone, the television remote, or any other source of external input. The first thing they do is expose themselves to a flood of information, messages, notifications, and news. Before their body is even fully awake, their mind is already pulled in multiple directions, responding to what the world is throwing at them. This is not just a small habit, it sets the tone for the entire day. The way you start your morning influences how your mind functions throughout the day. If you begin with external noise, your mind becomes reactive. If you begin with internal awareness, your mind becomes responsive. There is a huge difference between these two ways of being. Most people do not realize that the mind, just like the body, has its own rhythm. The moment you wake up, your mind is in a more subtle and receptive state. It is not yet overloaded with thoughts, worries, and distractions. This is why whatever you expose yourself to in the first moments of your day has a deep impact. If the first thing you see is a stressful email, a negative news headline, or an endless scroll of social media posts, then your mind is immediately pulled into a state of reaction. It starts processing, analyzing, comparing, and worrying, all before you have even stepped out of bed. Imagine waking up in a quiet, peaceful place surrounded by nature. There's no sudden noise, no rush, no overwhelming information. Instead, you slowly become aware of your breath, the light around you, the feeling of your body waking up. In this state, your mind has a chance to adjust gradually to find balance before engaging with the world. Now compare this to waking up and immediately looking at your phone, scrolling through messages, seeing missed calls, notifications, and breaking news. The mind, instead of being given space to ease into the day, is thrown straight into chaos. It is forced to react before it has even had a chance to settle. One of the simplest ways to change this is to delay external input in the morning. Even if it is just for a few minutes, allowing yourself time to wake up naturally before engaging with technology or external information can make a significant difference. Instead of letting your phone dictate your first thoughts, take control of your own mental space. Observe your breath for a few moments. Stretch your body, set an intention, feel the quietness of the morning before introducing noise. People often underestimate how much of their stress comes not from actual life situations, but from the constant bombardment of information. The mind is designed to process what is necessary, but in today's world, most people are feeding it unnecessary content. From the moment they wake up, this creates mental clutter, making it harder to focus, harder to feel at ease, and harder to respond to life with clarity. If you check your messages the first thing in the morning, you may see something that upsets you. Now, instead of starting your day with awareness, you are already disturbed. If you check the news and see something alarming, if you scroll through social media and see people's opinions, comparisons, or distractions, your mind is already filled with unnecessary thoughts. This is not about avoiding information entirely. It is not about disconnecting from the world. It is simply about giving yourself the space to start your day with balance before engaging with the outside world. The difference between a conscious morning and an unconscious one is small but powerful. If you delay checking your phone for even 20 minutes, those 20 minutes become an opportunity to set the direction for your entire day. There is a certain clarity in the early morning hours. The mind is not yet cluttered, and the body is still in a natural state of relaxation. If you allow yourself to experience this clarity before engaging with distractions, you will notice a shift in how you feel. Your thoughts will be calmer, your emotions will be more stable, your sense of focus will be sharper. But if you immediately expose yourself to information overload, that clarity is lost. Instead of starting the day with awareness, you start with reaction. The reason people struggle with focus, productivity, and peace of mind is not because life is inherently stressful, but because they are never giving their mind a moment of stillness. If you spend your entire day reacting to messages, emails, news, conversations, then by the end of the day you are exhausted. Not because of the work you did, but because your mind was in a constant state of response. But if you begin your day by allowing your mind to settle first, you will find that you can engage with everything else more effectively. Instead of being pulled in different directions, you will move through the day with a sense of control. This simple habit of delaying external input is not just about mental clarity. It also affects your emotions. When you wake up and immediately engage with technology, you are not giving yourself the opportunity to connect with your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own state of being. Instead, your emotions are being influenced by external content before you have even had a chance to understand how you actually feel. If you wake up and spend a few moments just being with yourself, whether through breath, movement, or quiet observation, you will notice that your emotional state is more balanced. You are not carrying unnecessary agitation or distraction into your day. The human mind is powerful, but it is also highly impressionable. The first thing you expose it to in the morning leaves a mark. If that first thing is chaos, then the mind will mirror that chaos throughout the day. If it is clarity, then the mind will function with clarity. The choice is always there. The question is whether you are making that choice consciously or allowing it to be made for you. The way you engage with the first moments of your day determines how the rest of the day will unfold. Most people rush into their mornings without any sense of presence. They wake up, get out of bed mechanically, go through their routine while their mind is already racing ahead, thinking about work, responsibilities, and to-do lists. Before they have even truly woken up, they are caught in the momentum of their own thoughts. This is why so many people feel like their days are running away from them, as if they are constantly trying to catch up rather than moving through life with clarity and ease. But if you can bring just a little bit of awareness into your morning, if you can take a few moments to be fully present before the day takes over, you will notice that everything changes. Presence is not something that has to be practiced only in meditation or special moments of silence. It can be integrated into the simplest actions of your morning. The moment you wake up, instead of immediately engaging with thoughts or distractions, just be aware that you are awake. Feel the sensation of your body against the bed. Notice your breath. Observe the transition between sleep and wakefulness. This may seem like a small thing, but it is an opportunity to start your day with awareness rather than unconscious momentum. If you get out of bed with awareness, you will notice that your movements feel different. Instead of rushing, you move with a certain ease. When you drink your first glass of water, instead of gulping it down while your mind is elsewhere, you actually taste it. When you take a shower, instead of just going through the motions, you feel the sensation of water on your skin. When you eat breakfast, instead of being lost in thoughts or distractions, you experience the taste, the texture, the nourishment. These are small moments, but they are the moments that shape your experience of life. Most people are not suffering because of what is happening in their lives. They are suffering because they are never fully present with what is happening. Their body is in one place, but their mind is elsewhere. Thinking about the past, worrying about the future, analyzing, planning, overthinking. This constant mental activity creates a sense of restlessness, making even the simplest tasks feel like a burden. But if you can bring your awareness into whatever you are doing, even the most ordinary moments become alive. There is a certain richness to experience when you are fully present with it. In the morning, there is a natural stillness. The world has not yet fully woken up, and your own mind has not yet been filled with distractions. If you use this time to practice presence, even for just a few minutes, you are setting a tone for the rest of the day. If you begin with awareness, then as you move through your tasks, that awareness stays with you. You are not just reacting to situations mindlessly. You are responding with clarity. People often believe that presence is something difficult to attain, that it requires years of practice or deep meditation. But presence is simply about being where you are, fully. If you are drinking tea, just drink tea. If you are putting on your shoes, just put on your shoes. If you are stepping outside, feel the air, the sunlight, the ground beneath your feet. These are not complicated practices. They are simply about being available to the moment instead of being lost in thought. Bringing presence into your morning does not mean you have to move slowly or abandon your responsibilities. It simply means that whatever you are doing, you do it with your full attention. If you are getting ready for work, get ready with awareness. If you are driving, drive with awareness. If you are walking, walk with awareness. When you bring this quality of presence into your morning, you will find that your mind feels clearer, your emotions feel more balanced, and your energy feels more steady. One of the biggest sources of stress is not the actual demands of life, but the way the mind constantly resists what is happening. If you wake up and your mind immediately starts thinking, I have so much to do, this is going to be a difficult day, I wish I could sleep longer, then even before anything has happened, there is already resistance. This resistance creates unnecessary tension. But if you simply wake up and experience waking up without adding unnecessary commentary in your mind, there is no struggle. There is just the natural flow of one moment into the next. The ability to be present is not something you need to acquire. It is something you already have. It is just that most people have forgotten how to use it. They are so accustomed to being mentally somewhere else that they do not even realize they are missing the experience of their own life. But if you start your morning with awareness, even for just a few moments, you will begin to reclaim this natural state. You will notice that your mind is not as scattered, that your actions feel more deliberate, that there is a sense of ease rather than resistance. Even when unexpected situations arise, if you have cultivated presence in the morning, you will respond differently. Instead of reacting with frustration or stress, you will handle things with a sense of clarity. You will not be carried away by every small disturbance because there is already a certain steadiness within you. If you make it a habit to start your day with presence, you will notice that this awareness begins to extend into everything you do. It will not remain limited to the morning, but will become part of the way you engage with life. You will find that even the simplest actions, breathing, moving, seeing, hearing, become richer, more meaningful, and more alive. If you take just 20 minutes each morning to consciously engage with your body, mind, breath, and awareness, you will see a profound shift in the way you experience your entire day. Instead of being caught in the unconscious momentum of thoughts, distractions, and external demands, you begin your day from a place of balance, clarity, and inner stability. These small intentional actions, moving your body, setting an intention, delaying external input, cultivating presence, are not just morning habits, they are tools for transforming your entire approach to life. When you start the day right, everything else follows effortlessly. Your energy flows smoothly, your mind remains clear, and you navigate challenges with ease rather than struggle. Each morning is an opportunity to decide how you want to live. And by making this choice consciously, you reclaim the power to shape your life rather than simply reacting to it.